it's like
Okay,
because
cool.
ultimately, like, yeah, if you're unmuted,
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
just
tell
unmuted
the name.
it. Welcome,
Yeah,
guys.
cool.
Welcome.
So what I would say is like I'm like completely an open book. I feel like I like being very candid. So it's like if people want to ask weird questions, there might if the question's like absurd, obviously, I might not answer it, but I feel like
Yeah,
ask away. You
again.
might as well shoot your shot. If you have a question,
All
maybe
right.
I'll answer it.
What's up, everybody? We're here live with Sohinki. We were just talking prior before we got on. And just everybody, I just want the questions to remain respectful. Just you can ask whatever you want. He's an open book, as he just said. Just please refrain from anything that can be deemed as disrespectful, and I'll be looking out for it. If you do it, I have to ban you, okay, or time you out. So
But
just
yeah, like let me just say this also. Like I've been on the internet as a personality since 2010, so it's like, nothing anyone says is going to offend me. So if you're doing it for your stream, like you don't want certain things, but
yeah.
like, yeah, it's fine for me.
All right, man. Well, we'll get straight into it. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking your time out to do this, and we really
Yeah, no problem.
appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna start with how'd you get into Evil Dead? What was your first time playing it? Were you a big horror fan? Did you play any other eSIM? So you can tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, my history with like multiplayer games in general, I feel like I'm always, even now, but like especially back then when I was gaming a lot more, I was always just looking for the next kind of like weird multiplayer game. Dating back to like when Half-Life mods were like a big thing, like when it wasn't just Counter-Strike and Team Fortress. Like there were all kinds of weird mods,
Mm-hmm.
like Action Half-Life and Research and Development. Day of Defeat was like a bigger one, obviously, but I was always just like looking for new interesting multiplayer games, which kind of led me to Evolve when that first came out. I think it was probably the first ASIM I ever played.
Okay.
There might have been. I honestly don't remember if there were other ASIMs before Evolve, but that was definitely the first one I played. Um, and After Evolve, yeah, Dead by Daylight, I played very early on. I think I even played Dead by Daylight like during the beta. Um, and Yeah, I was always looking. I loved the format. I just thought it was so neat, like the 1v4.
Right.
So I played like all kinds of weird ones. I don't know if you've heard of Depth. It's like a shark ASIM where there's 2 sharks against 4 divers.
Oh, I haven't. I
Um,
haven't heard of that.
that game is actually super fun. You have to like, get a lobby of friends together, but if you
Nice.
have 6 people, that game's super fun.
Is it still out?
I think you can still play it. I don't know if it's on. Yeah, I would have to. I would have to look on the
Oh, you're
Steam
good.
store right now. But yeah, um, and then what else? Predator Hunting Grounds.
I
Even
heard of
I
that.
didn't play that game very long because I was like, I don't know.
I think I bought
I
it. I never played it.
As someone that likes when the killer is strong, that game felt very, very difficult to be good at the Predator at. And then Evil Dead was probably the next one after that.
Mm.
And Yeah, I liked Evil Dead as a franchise, and I was just lucky enough at the time, So, like my history as far as like being a personality is, I was on this channel called Smosh Games back in 2012, and so I had made some relationships with certain people in the industry. So I got invited to like a pre-release Evil Dead event. That was kind of the first time I
Nice.
played it. Um, I had already met Andy Campbell before that at this like Smash Bros thing. We did like a Smash Bros live stream together or something.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so it was like the like event was basically come to this place. You guys are gonna play Survivor against Andy Campbell, who's playing the demon, and then Bruce Campbell's gonna commentate the matches.
Really?
So it's like, yeah, it was
That
sick.
is
We
so
got to
dope.
meet Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
He was awesome in person. I
Oh,
and
wow.
like let me say this just as a shout out to Bruce Campbell, because Bruce Campbell was awesome.
Wow.
Uh, he is sitting there, right? Like we were the last session of the day, and it was like probably a 10-hour day for him of watching video games. And I can't imagine Bruce Campbell is into games like that. So he was probably kind of bored, but like, you know, still, as soon as the cameras turned on, he was like in it, like being Bruce Campbell. You know what I mean? And then
So
like still
awesome.
took a picture with everyone after we were done, and like yeah, he was super cool.
That's awesome, man. I just sorry, I forgot to mention that we are doing a co-host. I didn't mention that initially because we are talking about the rules. But we do have Snackbot helping the co-host the event today, the Q&A. So yeah,
Yo,
we can get back into it. Um, so you were involved with the Evil Dead from the start. So you did mention you had early access because you had met people in the community and you were able to try this game out and you shared the experience that you had with Andy Campbell and Bruce Campbell.
hmm
Very good people. How was that?
Yeah, and
How was
Andy and
that?
I are like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. How was initially starting as a survivor and him as a demon? Like, can you tell us the experience of that match?
We lost them. We actually, so apparently we did the best of everyone all day. They saved us for last, apparently, because it was me, one of the guys from Slash and Cast, I think Laughin, and one other guy who I'm not remembering. But anyway, first of all, it was like my first time getting my hands on the game. Everything felt fun, you know. It's like it was so cool. Like as a fan of Evil Dead, it was like the survivor experience, I think, is the more, quote, Evil Dead experience, like the more horror experience, like
Hmm.
before you've learned the game, right? Everything's scary. You're worried about your fear levels going up and all that. The thing that makes all ASIMs fun, which is like the first month of the game, I feel like. So like my first experience with it, I'm just like loving it. The finishes are all like so cool and fresh and like everything, yeah, it just looks cool. Um, and yeah, Andy had been prepped, I think, like, oh, this is the sweaty squad, they're the ones that are gonna be trying the hardest to win. We're not like as much of a content squad as all the other people they invited that day. Um and so yeah, it was a fun competitive match. We would have won, I think. We like I remember it was on the small map. We died to the storm. And it was like, which is so crazy to think about, but yeah, it was on the small map. We died to the storm because like one of the guys couldn't decide whether he wanted to get in the car or not, and none of us realized how fast the storm would kill you. Our only frame of reference for like a storm like that was like PUBG or Fortnite, so we thought it was going to be like slow damage until you like get out of it or whatever. But obviously, the storm kind of eats you alive.
Yeah. So you had to learn the hard way, pretty much.
Yeah, but it was a really good match up until that point. We got both pieces, which apparently was also better than anyone had done that day. So we were like on our way to the dark ones, obviously, because the storm's coming. And
Was
then yeah, we died to the storm.
was Andy crushing it as demon? Was he demon the whole time, or were we swapping up?
No, he was demon the whole day. That was
Really?
like that was like kind of the not gimmick, but like the whole like theme of the event is like you're against Andy Campbell, Bruce Campbell's son, who's playing the demon.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
So, how's your relationship with Andy today? Do you guys still speak, or
Yeah, yeah. I still talk to Andy from time to time, and his wife Janelle.
nice?
Good friends with both of them, and we're both into fighting games. So like anytime a new fighting game's coming out, we're always messaging each other like, "Hey, you playing this?" So
Nice. It's good to have a good relation. And with Bruce, how was you did say some things about his energy and vibe that night.
mhm.
Overall, great. It seems like a great guy. Was
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was he excited about the game initially? Was when he seen the lines and all that stuff? How was he feeling?
yeah. I think he's like super into the game in terms of like how the final product looked and everything. Um, and maybe when we get into some more topics later, there's other stuff to talk about, um, but yeah, it seemed like my guess is he was like happy with how the franchise was represented as far
Mm-hmm.
as like visually, the game is cool, it has the vibe and everything. So
So when you started after that, what did you? I know you said you initially played Survivor, but
mhm.
were you always Survivor? Did you go Demon? What was your role mainly? What did you play mostly?
I feel like so most ASIMs I try and play both for like the first month, like back and forth. I definitely gravitated more towards Survivor at first. just because like the game came out, a lot of friends were playing. I was like streaming with Andy and a few other people that would like just play Survivor together. So yeah, I was more into Survivor at first, but then kind of like in my own time was trying out Demon, and I was still doing like really like super scrubby strats early on, where I'm like not even chasing the survivors. I'm going to the objectives and just like putting a bunch of traps and stuff and thinking that's like the best way to play.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I would say I played more Survivor than Demon in like the first month of the game, and then ultimately kind of fell in love with Demon once I started like learning the role a bit more.
Okay. I know you were part of the development and the community streamers early on. What was that experience like, and how closely did you work with Saber?
Yeah, so they Saber basically approached me and was like, just as someone that they like. I had worked with one of the guys that was at Saber at the time before when he was at a previous company doing like community live streams. So he was just like coming to me, and the pitch was like, hey, just like these live streams we used to do, we want to do updates for Evil Dead. We want to involve the community, and we want to like highlight community members. And like his vision for the community stream, I think was cooler than it ended up being. I do think the first stream that we did was probably like closer to what he ultimately wanted it to be, but then um, he actually left Saber like not that long after the first community live stream, and then it just became kind of like a dev update thing. But the original vision for the stream was like more about highlighting different community members, like cosplayers, people that did artwork, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was really more meant to be like a community like cultivating thing early on, and then it just kind of turned into later on like here's what's changing.
Mm,
And I didn't have any control over any like creative for the streams. I was basically just like the facilitator. You know, they gave me the assets. I ran it out of my house. Um, and like they told me what to talk about, what not to talk about, that kind of stuff. And that was it. So
ooh,
I was basically just like the host, you know? Um,
I'm
so I
interested.
didn't really,
Go ahead.
oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I said I'm interested in the what not to talk about part. We'll get in that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, go ahead. I apologize for cutting you off.
That's all good. Yeah. I was just saying like, yeah, so like I didn't really have any control over what was happening on the stream other than like, you know, I would make suggestions about how certain things could look. Um as but really more in terms of like setting up the scenes and stuff. So like nothing really creative, like
Okay.
just like um yeah.
All right.
And then I ran the stream out of my house, which is why there were so many random mistakes with
Okay.
like I would like accidentally not switch a scene when we were supposed to be showing a trailer and like stuff like that. I don't know.
You're
I
good.
was basically like running out of my home office. So
All right. At one point, you were averaging around 100 viewers while streaming the game. What was the community like back then? Initially, were they friendly? Were they some toxic, or the same before you left it? What do you think?
I think I would say the community was mostly friendly. I don't know, the like the toxicity that would be in my streams really like I feel like it was like very individual incidents. Like most of the people that were there, I think were there because they wanted to learn Demon, like especially once I started streaming Demon pretty much only.
Okay.
Um, Most of the people were there to watch Demon gameplay and learn to play Demon. Um, and then there would be like a little bit of toxicity here and there. And honestly, like I would say this, I was in like a much different place back then. And I think like I would never I don't know. I would never blame anyone in the community that was a survivor main that didn't know me for being like, wow, that guy sucks. Because like I would get pissed on stream and I would say some shit and that I would later regret. And yeah, I just felt like, I'm a little bit different, I think. And like sometimes I'll be like, that guy's a piece of shit. And then I'll just like forget about it 5 minutes later. But then like, I didn't think about it at the time that, some people take that personally and like they remember that. Like, hey, this Sohinki guy with 100 viewers called me a piece of shit. I'm not forgetting that. So it's like, there was some toxicity in my streams. but so in some ways, I feel like some of it was justified because I didn't always have the best attitude.
Right. Do you think it was on balance of the game? Was it you felt like there was some things that needed to be changed that you were
I
acting
think
like that, or
I think the time I think the time that I like was the most toxic in the game was during the Ruby patch when she was doing like 1000% damage. Um and it was really just it stemmed from a lot of things, and we can dig into it a little bit more later.
yes, yes.
But like basically it was like, you know, 3 months of Ruby just fully breaking the game.
Mm.
Um and I knew that there was no patch coming anytime soon. So I think like that private knowledge
Oh,
along with just being so frustrated with the state of the game and like and other a couple other surrounding things, um like it was like almost like a little worse for me because like whereas other streamers would be like, man, I hope this patch is coming soon, like in my head I'm like, well, no, this
did
patch isn't coming soon, you know.
did, did you say anything to like your close friends or people in the community, like, bro, it's not happening? I know you said like, and were there? Did you do anything to advocate
No,
for the situation? Like, yo, bro, you guys got to fix this. The numbers are not right. Her numbers are broken. Yo,
I
did
would
you?
I would privately, so like I would talk to the community manager sometimes on Discord. So I would privately send him clips and be like, "Hey, here's an example of Ruby doing, 10,000 damage with one headshot." And so I would privately send him clips, but like I was like also trying to balance like maintaining a relationship with Saber, and I didn't want to overstep. So like yeah, I wasn't really telling anyone too much of anything because I wanted to respect like, I signed an
Privacy,
NDA
yeah.
and I take those things
Ooh,
pretty seriously. So
is that still in effect?
maybe,
Okay.
but they're not updating the game anymore. I don't know. I also feel like certain things are
Uh-huh.
probably like I think certain things that I want to say, I'm fine to say, you know.
Okay, we'll get to it. We have a lot of questions, so you already started really good. This is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so do you remember what are your best moments in the game for you? What is some history that you can't let go regarding impact the game? It's like special moments you did on stream that became memorable for people.
Um, well, I think the moment that I'm most remembered for is probably on the second developer live stream when they
Mm-hmm.
were showing off Plaguebringer.
Okay.
Um, and it was like such a like I don't know. For me, it was super fun because well, first let me say this: that match was very unfair for the survivors because for some reason the development build was bugged where so I knew I was going to win going into that match because the development build was bugged and I had all 45 of my levels, but the survivors didn't have any. So they were level 0. All 4 survivors were playing level 0 and I was playing a level 45 demon. So to me it
Mm,
didn't matter what demon I was playing, I was probably going to win. Um which is maybe why I wasn't stressed out and I was just like thinking about like creative ideas and stuff. But I just remember thinking because I think it was Kiddier who was playing in that match, and she ran into one of the trains at dead end, and I just
mm,
thought to myself, I wonder if this pot blocks her. And I
mhm.
dropped the pot, and she couldn't get out, and I was just like, that is disgusting. it was like, and
Nice.
it was just like fully a like. I was already having fun, and then I was just like, wow, like
This is
how
a game
insane is that
changer.
that
This is a
worked?
game
Yeah,
changer.
it was so funny to me that it worked, and
Mhm.
like um we're in the middle of the dev live stream and I almost like forgot that I was doing it because I was just having so much fun messing around. Because I was also trying not to kill them super fast
Right.
because, I wanted the game to last like at least 10 minutes or something. But yeah, that I will say that. I don't know if that ever got cleared up or brought up, but like that match was 100% unfair for the survivors because they were not leveled up and I was.
What was everybody's reaction to seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember. I actually do remember seeing a couple of the demon mains in chat, like pogging and stuff. you know, uh, it was definitely a fun moment. And then the other fun moment from that stream, because I had never played Plague before, so it was
Mhm.
like the first match was my first match. And I remember when the boss came back to life, I like lost it. I was like, I'm like a raid boss. Holy shit. I was freaking out. Uh, just like seeing the witch come back to life. I was
Yeah.
like, no way. And then I saw that her energy wasn't going down in that mode too. And like just
Mm-hmm.
like my first impression was like, yo, this demon's busted. Like,
Mm.
how's any survivor gonna beat this? So, obviously found
They,
out.
they figured out. Yeah, they figured out a way.
Yeah, they learned they certainly, it seemed like anytime I thought something on Demon was really good, eventually someone would prove me wrong. Not that it wasn't good, but just that, it was solvable. It was a
Right,
solvable
right,
problem. Yeah.
right. Um, were there any squads that you played with, or was it you just played mostly demon?
Um, yeah, I played mostly Demon. A lot of times when I played Survivor, it would be with Andy or like other people that I would try to introduce the game to. There were like a couple other like medium level streamers that I was trying to get into the game. And then like the hard part was like at that stage, a lot of the demons were very sweaty. So we would get in and like it would just not go well and everyone would just be dying the whole time. And I'd be like, I swear this game's fun, guys. uh,
So Andy can't
you know,
Andy, did you have anybody else that you played, or was it mostly with him? Did you have any like four squad, or is it just
no,
him?
I never really had like a stack that honestly, that's the main reason I gravitate toward killer in most ASIMs. It's not even necessarily that like I I mean, I do prefer killer, but I would play more survivor if I had a regular group to play with. I just am typically the only one in my friend group that even enjoys ASIMs. Most of them are like casual; they'll like play single player games and stuff. Like a lot of my real life friends. Um, so yeah, I've never really had like a regular group that I play games with. The closest time I had was me and Alucard played a bunch of Texas Chainsaw together when
Mm,
that game came out.
nice.
Um, but ultimately, it
Big
was
Aloe.
that was like he definitely wanted to be a little bit more competitive than I did, so he went and like made an esports squad.
Oh, we heard about this esports squad.
Yeah, yeah. They were. I actually watched some of their matches too. They were good. It was fun to
Yeah.
watch.
We love
Uh,
our esports squad.
yes. So Snack, you can ask the next couple questions.
Yeah, so just pretty much we know that you're originally streaming the game and you're playing mainly Demon on all your live streams. So what made the Demon role more special for you compared to like any other ASIMs like TCM, Killer Clowns? Like what made this one more special to you?
I think it was because like I liked the sort of um I don't even know what you would call it, the like the demon view, the sort of global view of the match. Like it felt like you always had something to do. Playing Texas Chainsaw, for example, at a high level, a lot of times meant like running back and forth the same route, checking things. And it just like ultimately wasn't that interesting to me. Whereas like Evil Dead, I felt like I'm like controlling the action. And I think like especially early on, I felt what they wanted you to feel as the demon, which is like you are a like this like ever present threat to the survivors. Um, Obviously, like once people were figuring the game out more, it was the game became a lot more about doing very specific things to win. But like I felt like they did a good job, like not on the balance level, but on the design level overall, anyway, of like making you feel, uh, yeah, like scary in a way. Um, and I just I loved like flying around, placing units, setting up traps. It was just like completely unique, and I think I never played Resident Evil Resistance. Apparently, that game was somewhat similar.
We love our Resistance games.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a very big topic on that one. Everybody's always talking about that one when Evil
yeah,
Dead comes out.
I've heard that game was like even worse balanced, but I never played it. I remember seeing it and wanting to play it, but I never got into it. But yeah, I just thought it was so interesting. And early on, like there's certain things like that the demon could do that eventually got taken away. It was just like taking control of units was cool. It felt like also there were just a ton of different possibilities for how to play the game. Like the skill trees were like pretty deep. Even though, ultimately a lot of times like the build would like there's like a meta build for each demon. It felt like there was a ton to experiment with early on, especially.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about, playing Demon like throughout our time playing from beginning to the end of where you feel like it was for you, did you feel like you had anyone that was like a mentor to you that helped teach you some like mechanics or techs is like what people like to call them?
Well, I remember the very first thing I watched that made me excited to play Demon was this dude Swing Point. Do you remember him?
Yeah, same point. I got some of my early on gameplay from him as Demon.
Yep,
He made some
yep,
really
yeah.
good
I would
videos.
I would watch his videos, and I remember the first one I watched that made me excited to like, ooh, I got to go and try that. Was his video that he released about how to find the survivors quickly. Because like in my head, I was when I first started playing and had no knowledge, I was like, well, there's no point in trying to find the survivors. They're on this giant map. uh, and I watched this video and I was like, holy shit, I gotta try that. And then like it worked, and I was like, oh my god, this is a completely different game now.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember I'm talking about the pretty much how to like find survivors early based off like fear, and then he started talking about how to play puppeteer better and all
mhm.
the good videos. He actually some really good knowledgeable videos early on in the game that kind of helped like
And then,
bring other demon players in.
yeah, and then I at the time like would tune into Alucard's stream a lot, and we would kind of like I would get a lot of tech from him. We would kind of share ideas back and forth too, like post builds and whatnot, and like um yeah, I think Alucard learned from a lot of different people, and then I would learn a lot of tech from watching Alucard stream. Um, so I
Yeah,
guess you could say Alucard was a bit of a demon mentor for me as well. And I mean, I learned a lot of tech from watching his stream.
yeah, that goes to another good question that we have is like pretty much like can you walk us through like your go-to demon builds for any demons you feel like you want to talk about, and is there any like opening strategy you would do that can help maybe current players that are playing right now that are still struggling, or even current players that are kind of veteran but they don't know the type of strategies you might have differently compared to them?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think right now is like a completely different ball game than playing back then. Um, because I think most demon strategies now you like pretty much have to consider the book. Um, it felt very likely until you played like the God Squad or someone like that. It felt very likely that you could kill the survivors early on in the game's life. But now you almost have to go into every match assuming you're not going to kill them. Um, so most of the builds I have are kind of centered around constant pressure to make the book phase easier, I guess is what I would say. So it's like resource depletion with book phase in mind is kind of how I consider my builds, I guess.
Mm.
Um, so like for example, like Warlord, I have like a very basic focused build. Um, I like I don't know if I was the first person to come up with this, but like I remember like people were basically like Warlord's unplayable now at a certain point, and I came up with this basic build, and I was actually like killing a couple like not any of the best squads, but I was actually like killing a couple of the like medium squads at the time with what I called the swarm build, which is basically around just like find the survivors as early as possible, even though it seems like counterintuitive because they nerfed possession, and it just like pressure them absolutely like as much as you can the entire game with basic units. And just like, yeah, obviously on a map like Kandar, it's like almost pointless to try and deplete resources. But on the big map, there were definitely a couple times where I would notice like, oh shoot, they're definitely running low on heals because they are being very precious with them. Um, and then I guess I don't know. I think my builds with all the other demons were pretty much like standard. Especially once your demon is P5, it almost feels like you can do everything with them. You don't even have to specialize anymore. Um, Yeah.
Was there any like openers that you felt like was a good strategy? Because I know you're like a big advocate in the beginning for flipping cars, finding survivors early. Do you think
Yeah,
there
I
like
think what I learned about flipping cars is it it I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword, because you have to assume that like flipping cars fully is a strategy to slow down the survivors, but it can work against you sometimes, because like the longer they're in the game, the more likely they are to find things. And especially later on in the game's life, it pretty much felt like it meant, oh, they're gonna find legendary stuff. Like if this goes past 15 minutes into the game, Scotty's gonna have a legendary axe, you know? So I felt like my opinion on flipping cars changed over the game's life cycle, whereas like on the big map, depending on the spawn, I would sometimes not flip. Like I would flip only if both of the objectives were like in the far north. But otherwise, I would like see if I could find them, because it felt like almost counterproductive. Like they're gonna do the further south objective second anyway. They're gonna have the heals to like make it between the objectives. So you're almost like shooting yourself in the foot a little bit sometimes by trying to flip cars. My ultimate dream for cars though was like I really wished I hated having to flip cars. And I know I didn't have to, but like I hated feeling like flipping cars was the best strategy, because it was boring for everyone. It's boring for the survivors, it's boring for the demon to do, it's boring for the viewers of the stream. Like I felt like flipping cars is boring for everybody. And
surprisingly that people actually liked watching
Yeah.
you guys
oh,
car
really?
flip and taking the time.
I would get tons of people asking me like, "Hey, can you show me how to flip cars easy?" Um, and it was funny. Like I felt like when flipping cars became big, like yeah, Alucard and I would like trade back and forth. Like, oh, have you seen how to flip this car here at this place? And oh, you know what? I just realized I said dead end way earlier, and I meant terminal. Anyway, um, but anyway, we would trade tech back and forth about how to flip cars in certain spots, and then eventually we kind of developed a tech that would like flip any car. Felt like.
That's
Yeah,
one
so
of
a quick
that's one.
question
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
from the chat. We got Smoke asking, do you feel like revisiting Evil Dead at times or any other games more important to you in 2026?
Well, in 2026, I have a full-time job, and so my video game time is definitely limited because I'm working a full-time job. I'm also on the side, like trying to make content that's not gaming related with a friend of mine. I'm also working on a video game of my own.
Ooh.
So my time is quite taken up at the moment, and a lot of
Uh-huh.
my game time is spent just playing like casual stuff. I am really looking. I already pre-ordered. I can't wait to play Marvel
Halloween.
Tokon.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, Halloween
Halloween.
also. So I'm definitely gonna play Halloween.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna play Halloween. I'm gonna get in on that. The first month of it, like, even if I buy most major ASIMs, because I feel like almost every ASIM is fun for the first month, and then how the game develops is like determines whether it's gonna be fun after that. But I almost feel like, because you almost never buy an ASIM that's more than like $40, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'll pay $40 to have fun for a month. That's like seems like a
That's
fair trade
yeah,
off.
that's a good trade. Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't die in the first month.
Yeah. But yeah,
Now,
I mean, yeah, I have to be choosy about what I'm playing these days. But yeah, I do miss Evil Dead sometimes. And then I fire up a stream and I see like 3-liter hash combo, and I'm like, like I'll watch someone else playing, and I'll just be like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
it could be it could be sweaty. Now, what was your favorite demon to play and why?
um, hmm. I think it changed over time. I think overall my favorite demon to play was Plaguebringer. I
Mm.
just felt like Plaguebringer functioned the way I wished every demon would function, where it felt like when you were controlling a unit, you weren't limited. Like it felt like almost anything you wanted to do, you could. with a couple exceptions, but it was like almost every attack could cancel a special, and you could cancel a special with an attack, and you could cancel a special with a dodge. And so it just felt like these units, well, at least with the basics anyway, it just kind of felt like these units function how I want every unit in the game to function. So it just felt like, because there's a time, especially after Ball released, like I would still rather play Plaguebringer most of the time, because I just felt like even though Ball is stronger, Plaguebringer's units were more fun to control. So yeah, I would say Plaguebringer was my favorite overall.
I remember you talking about, when you first tried Plaguebringer, you potted, was it Kittier? You said it was, you potted Kittier. A lot of people called that the Sohinki tech. When the time you potted the survivor at the terminal station, like you said earlier in the train. Uh, how did you feel like this was going to be a big advantage?
Well, I mean, I immediately saw the potential of like, especially once I learned, I called it the Beyblade. Like once I learned that you could spam the first ability on the basic, and like how much you could spam it when you were in the pot radius,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, like, and for a couple months, it maybe even just 1 month though, like it did feel like, well, people really have to watch when they go in a building. Four stacks obviously started being really coordinated about breaking the pot, so it was like became not as much of a threat. But for a while, when the game or when Plague first came out, it was like, yeah, people have to think twice about looting a building, because if you're there, you'll just block them in, and they're like almost guaranteed dead if they're by themselves.
Right.
I remember even I would trap someone like Henry, and they would like panic press their shield, and you just
Mm-hmm.
wait the shield out, and then you would Beyblade them to death. Like even Henry would die to it.
Watching them try to break that pot
Yeah.
and see if they can get
Yeah,
out before their thing
and
expires.
and then sometimes, and to this day, I don't even know when the pot does damage or not, but they would kill themselves by breaking the pot.
Yes, because you could get receive damage at the
Mm,
end when it breaks. You gotta kind of back
yep.
When
up.
it blows up, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a couple of questions from the chat. So we have, when was the last time you signed into Evil Dead?
The last time I signed into Evil Dead was yesterday to check my level, because I watched a few of your interviews, and I saw you asking them what level they were, and I was like, oh, I don't even remember. So technically yesterday, but the last time I played, a match was probably like, I don't know, like 8 months ago. I haven't played in a while. And it was off stream. I just played it just to play for fun.
Then we have
And
another question. Oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
The other question is from Puff. It's, how do you feel about playing against exploiters? Pretty much, how did it make you feel overall?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depended on the exploit. How egregious I thought it was. Like the absolute worst time of the game for exploits, and thankfully it only happened to me, I think, a total of 3 times. Was Shemp duping with, was it Scotty? Is that it? Not Scotty. What's his name? David? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
The guy that reduced damage. So he
Yes.
would infinitely spam Shemps to the point where you couldn't even, like, it wouldn't even register a hit on the survivors because you were doing 0 damage. So like, obviously that was miserable to play against. Thankfully, it didn't happen that much. Because Shemp duping had been like half fixed at the time. Only a few people still knew how to do it. But I would say, I don't know. I think now I wouldn't care that much. I was in, like I mentioned before, a little bit of a bad mindset back then, so it definitely used to piss me off. And then I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it would put me in this weird position where it's like, well, I want to exploit back. And then I would do it sometimes when I, in a moment of weakness. And then I would feel like the sort of guilt of like, damn, I'm like supposed to be representing the game, and here I am like exploiting. So I would log off stream, and I would feel like a dumbass, like I messed up. I was pretty hard on myself back then, like, because I didn't want to exploit. I felt like sometimes I would have a bad moment on stream, it would get clipped and put on Reddit, and people would be like, this guy's representing the game, really? There were definitely also people at the time that were like trying to get me kicked off the dev streams, which was another fun thing. um But yeah, it was. I don't know. I would say yeah. At the time, it made me angry. I think if I had a clearer head in my current mental state, and I was in a better place like I am now, like it wouldn't have really bothered me. I would have just been like, oh well, go next.
Okay.
But yeah.
You feel like any have you seen? I don't know if you've seen any like the newer exploits of like running shams or like staying
Yeah, I played
behind
against running Shems a
objectives.
little bit. What was the second one?
Staying behind objectives on like a schemer or any other demon that there's still opportunities to stay behind objectives by spawning a boss at the last second and possessing a car.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was aware of some of those. I definitely played against running Shemps. Running Shemps didn't bother me that much. You know what actually upset me more than running Shemps, and it was almost because it was like it felt like it was breaking the game design. Whereas like running Shemps is like an advantage, but I hated when people could cancel their Shemps animation. I think they did it by reloading or something, and then they
Yes.
would dodge
Yes.
out of
Yes.
Yeah.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, like, in my head, I'm like, ooh, I did the thing I wanted to do. I baited you into using a Shemps. Now you should get punished. And then they would cancel out of it. And I'm like, oh, so even when I trick you, I don't get to win. So that would make me a little upset.
Do you feel like it's been a topic on some of these interviews? Is do you feel like these are like game breaking advantages or exploits? Do you have like a big opinion overall on them? I know you talked a little bit about it earlier, but like, do you still feel like these exploits can change the game drastically? Do you think it's a bannable offense? Do you think the definition of being called a tech instead of an exploit is valid?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would say about it is like, obviously, they're all exploits. I think, like, it would have been on the devs to come in and be like, hey, you're going to get banned for doing this. So it's like I wouldn't blame other people for doing it. I felt like I was cheating when I was exploiting, which is why I would feel guilty about it. I felt like, damn, I just resorted to cheating. That's how I used to feel. Uh, like, especially with stuff like infinite energy on the witch, I would feel like, ah, man, I have to cheat to win this match. Like, I would feel so guilty and like an idiot afterward after doing it. Sometimes there were a couple times I deleted my VOD because I was like, oh, I don't want that on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up in that like there was some award show where they were like awarding stuff like the biggest crybaby and stuff. I don't know. I won a couple of those categories.
Those live
Shit, at
streams.
least you won something. Damn.
Yeah, I know exactly.
At least I remember you by something at least.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We do
I
have
thought it was funny, honestly. I forget who it was. I think it was like Sassmouth or someone like that.
Yeah, I
Someone
think
did
that
some
sounds
award
about, yeah.
show.
hey,
Actually, I wish I could have talked to them because I think they probably thought I was a poor sport, but I actually thought it was hilarious.
there are some questions. You mentioned earlier you played some Survivor. When the game first came out, who was your favorite Survivor?
Oh man, my favorite thing to do was to play Arthur when he sucked.
Mm.
Because I remember during the Kandar patch, the first one, I had 2 or 3 weeks where I played nothing but Survivor, and it was an all Arthur stream because it was supposed to be the patch when it was impossible to win on Survivor. And I was playing solo queue Arthur back when he sucked before they buffed leaders. And my whole thing was like, look, I'm not going to win a lot, but I think I was winning like 1 out of every 5 matches in a patch where everyone was like, oh, it's impossible to win on Survivor. And I was like, here, let me show you that I can win on Survivor solo queue with Arthur. So yeah, Arthur was.
I don't know what
Go
the
ahead.
Arthur slander. I don't think Arthur was weak at launch. I think Arthur was kind of pretty strong. It's just people didn't really know how to use him in the beginning. He had his
Yeah, most people didn't
bugs.
even know. Most people didn't even know that you kept his power going by like chaining finishers.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that his ability actually stacked with the range in the beginning too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
so it was pretty impressive to
remember.
me.
I remember one match specifically. I was Arthur. Oh, dude, I I remember I was Arthur. I was like looting by myself. What were the houses on the big map, like way up north? I don't remember the name of it.
Harry's houses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like getting chased by a warlord player, and I was just like window looping them, and they weren't doing any damage to me. My whole team was at dead end looting. I like look up from looting and my whole team is dead.
Oh.
And it's just me on Arthur. And all 3 of them come in my stream and they're like, wow, really? They were like blaming me for dying. And then I
Sounds
res
like
them and they were still like talking shit to me somehow. They're like, wow, dude, you're going to stream and you're going to play like this? Like they thought I was such a dumbass for running off by myself. Meanwhile, like all 3 of them died at dead end by themselves somehow.
sounds like your typical Sohinki experience.
Yeah, it was bad. They were like a 3 stack and they were just flaming me the whole time because I wasn't with them.
All right. We do have a couple more questions. If you could add one character from the ED universe to the game now, who would it be?
Oh man, the Evil Dead universe. I mean, that sort of I don't even know what you'd call it. I forget what it was called in the movie. The weird like homunculus thing from Evil Dead Rise. That would be kind of crazy. The thing that's like made up of the kids. That'd be a pretty crazy demon.
Oh, was it like the black mist at the end where they're in the garage? You're talking about that one?
Yeah, we're in the garage. Yep.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And they put him through that machine, and they got
Yeah, and like the individual demons could have been the kids. That would have been kind of cool, like
that
the
would've been dope.
units. So it's like the individual kids are the units, and then they come together to form the boss.
That's dope. That's a good idea.
And then I will say, I don't want to name any names.
You could. This is the time for it.
No, I know, but for their privacy. But I
Okay.
know there were some behind the scenes talks, and
Ooh.
obviously it never happened.
Oh, let's hear it.
But there were some behind the scenes talks I heard about interest. It never got very far because I think the development was like winding down. But there was interest in doing some cross promotion characters, and they had talked about adding Freddy to the game. That would have been nuts.
Ooh,
Like
that'd be a
that,
big one.
honestly, that he would have fit so perfectly into the game.
Can you remind us who Freddy was? And was he from the
Oh, like Freddy Krueger.
Oh, Freddy Krueger. Okay.
Yeah,
From
and Jason was talked about as well, but it was more of a like wish list. I don't think they ever even got to the point of like pursuing the rights or anything like that. But there were some internal talks about like having Freddy Krueger in the game and Jason Voorhees and like doing like the horror anthology kind of stuff. You know,
that would have been so dope. That
yeah.
would have been nice.
I know. I felt like Freddy would have been so perfect for the game because like the way he flies around, like the way you can appear anywhere, you know, as the demon, it just would have made sense. Same with Jason also. I just don't know what Jason's units would have been. Like you could be super creative with who Freddy's units are, but Jason doesn't really feel like there's any. I guess you could have had different Jasons or something. I don't know. That would have been weird.
There's another question. What game were you playing? I think before ED released in 2023. You did explain this in the beginning. I think maybe Smoke missed it. So,
Oh yeah, I was just playing like every other ASIM at the time. You know, I played Dead by Daylight a bit, but I tried all kinds of weird ASIMs. I played Friday the 13th. I played this game called Depth, where you're a shark. Predator Hunting Grounds. Yeah.
I gotta look at
Evolve was the first one.
I gotta look at that game, that depth game you were talking about. It's interesting.
Oh,
It's
Depth?
really fun. Yeah, you said it's really fun.
Yeah, it was really hard, and you know, as tends to be the case in a lot of these games, it was really hard to play as the sharks because you really had to coordinate with the other shark player very well. So, because the divers would always like clump up in a ball and follow this little robot around, and their guns would kill you really quick. So the only way to like really do well as the sharks was like to coordinate these like fast attacks where you would like drag one of them away from the group.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. That sounds like a fun game. I still have more questions. I'm liking these questions. Do you think asymmetrical games still have a future, or horror games still have a future?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, like, dude, my dream, if I was a rich man, I would reach out to Saber and I'd be like, yo, can I please buy the rights to Evil Dead the game? Because I just feel like My problem with the game was almost never the balance.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like the way you lost was not fun.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like, I didn't feel like I had freedom of expression because I felt like I was limited by the game mechanics to doing very wooden and straightforward things. Um, and there would just be certain tweaks and things that I would love to make to the game to just make it more fluid for both sides, even. So that combat felt more like, involved, I guess. But anyway, I do think there's a future for asymmetrical horror games. I would love to see more creativity. Like, I loved, Texas Chainsaw turned out, how it did, but I loved that they tried something new. I was like, 3v4, that's sick. It fits with the game. It was like such a love letter to Texas Chainsaw, which is like probably, it's definitely in my top 5 favorite horror movies. So it was like so cool to see that come to life. And it was cool that they were trying something different. What I would say to like asymmetrical horror devs out there is, yeah, just like keep experimenting and trying new stuff, because ultimately I think that's what'll keep the genre alive. If it's just like one killer versus 4 players and you hit them twice, then that's the death of the genre. But as long as people are like iterating on the games and making them better, then I think yeah, there's definitely a future for them.
Okay.
Oh, we have a couple other questions. A lot of people are actually asking questions. That's good.
Heck yeah.
What kind of game are you working on? Make sure it's a roguelike and not an extraction game, please.
Okay, well, I can't. This is going to sound crazy because it's going to sound like a game that I would never make. And I can't really explain why I'm making it because it would kind of ruin the surprise of the game. But I'm making a cozy farm simulator. Which
Okay.
sounds crazy.
I gotta Google that real quick.
So like have you played like Stardew? Have you played Stardew Valley?
I haven't.
Specifically Stardew Valley.
So yes, it's a game that's sort of similar to Stardew Valley with and I'll just say it's a game that's sort of similar to Stardew Valley with a branching narrative. So like your decisions matter.
Mm.
So that's what I'll
It's
say
like
about it.
like an Animal Crossing type thing, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But there's a twist. I will say the game starts that way and it becomes like 3 different things over the course of a playthrough. And it is meant to be played. It will be meant to be played multiple times. I wouldn't really call it like a roguelike, but I think after one playthrough, you'll have a better idea of how you want to play it the second time, if that makes sense.
Maybe something you might be saving, but if there's like an estimate date of when you feel like releasing some teasers or a trailer, or
I
even
mean,
gameplay.
it's like super early on, and the plan is going to be what we're working on right now. It's basically it's a team of 3 right now. It's me working on the story. We have one guy doing like the systems development, and then we have one guy doing the artwork. And really all we're working on right now is a demo that represents all aspects of the game, because the goal is going to be to pitch it to try and get some money so that it can become our full-time job making this game, because all of us are, working jobs and working on the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So right now we're trying to get to a point where we have a demo that we're happy with. And my guess for when a demo might be done is like end of the year. And then the goal after that will be to start like pitching it to publishers and seeing if anyone wants to throw some money at us.
Okay, sounds pretty good. If you let us know if we're able to play the demo, I'm sure we'll be happy to play it too. Give
Yeah,
you our
sure.
feedback.
If there's ever anything forward facing, I will. You'll hear a lot
Okay.
about it on all my socials and stuff, I'm sure.
You definitely got our
Sounds
support,
good.
man.
Yeah,
All
heck
right,
yeah.
we have another good question. Do you think there is any chance of Evil Dead the game being brought back to life? And in your opinion, what is needed to make that happen?
I felt like our best chance was there. It felt like a period of time. I want to say it was last year at some point, or maybe it was even in 2024. I don't remember when. I just remember there was this one period where everyone was kind of coming back to the game all at the same time. I was getting back into it because I just randomly was like, I want to P5 all my demons. And it felt like a ton of people were coming back to the game. And that almost felt like the best chance of like showing Saber that there's still interest, right? And then it felt like they rewarded us by taking it off all the stores.
Mm.
So I don't know. Let's put it this way. I think that there are people that are involved in the Evil Dead franchise that would love to see an Evil Dead game that was popular. So I don't think this is the last of Evil Dead in gaming at all by any means. Do I know if Evil Dead the game will be brought back to life? I have no idea. I can hope. To this day, I still say like this is the best asymmetrical game that's ever been made. I think it is.
Mhm.
But there's just certain problems with it where it's just so not beginner friendly. There's like almost no way to onboard a new player unless you have a pre-existing group that's just like introducing someone to the game that can like carry them for a little while. But like it's it's in a state right now where it's just the community is not going to be able to revive it because like the new player experience is just not good. But I do think that there will be more Evil Dead games in the future, and I would look forward to seeing what those are, and maybe it'll even be something like this that is in hands that want to develop it more.
Shoot, maybe we see another kind of like cash grab a little bit with the
Mhm.
Evil Dead 2, the
Mhm.
game.
That'd be cool.
Bringing back
The-
all the content they wanted to finish with this game that they had scrapped and left behind, and maybe they might revive it with
They
all
did just
that
announce
content.
the new Evil Dead movie. The trailer came out.
Yes. I
Yeah.
wanted to share that with everybody. I don't know if they watched it or not, but it was so dope.
Yeah, and coming back to our original questions here, um, what are some comps or squads that gave you the hardest time during your time in Evil Dead?
Well, okay. I wanted to talk about. I remember. Okay, so first of all, anytime I saw Hunter Ash, I was sad. It didn't matter what the comp was. I felt like I hated playing against that character. It felt like he completely changed the way you had to play the game. There was a period of time where elite builds were strong because it felt like that was like countering him, and then people would just, I don't know. Then suddenly people figured out how to do insane damage by stacking leaders, and it didn't matter. But yeah, Hunter Ash was just a character that I would have redesigned his power to be more, I guess, early game focused. I always thought what should happen is his power should sap like your energy rather than just auto deleting a unit. So that early in the game, he completely shut down aggression. It felt like that would have been like a thing he could be good at. But then late game, he wasn't just auto killing your units. Because I think ultimately part of the fun of Evil Dead was as the demon was killed because it felt like you got capped with how strong you could get.
Mhm.
So you weren't rewarded for playing a good game. Because like in theory, your reward for getting to late game should be your like uber strong. But at a certain point you stop getting stronger and the survivors would keep finding better weapons and stuff, and then it just felt like they would catch up to you almost. But yeah, the comp I hated playing against the most, especially early. I remember the first time someone showed me how broken Annie was. Um, it was in an era where I was winning constantly on Warlord, like Pew Cancel, just destroying everybody. Even though the best squads knew that you could literally just backwalk it, you didn't even have to dodge a lot of the time unless the Warlord was point blank. But you're still like killing most people with Puke Cancel. And then I remember this. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't the God Squad, but it was some 4-stack came into my stream and they were like, "Yo, you wanna scrim us?" And I was all cocky. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll scrim you guys, whatever." Um, and then we go into a match and they're like, "All right, just know that we're not cheating." Uh, and I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like instant balance barring me with Annie. And like I had never seen it before. I don't know that anyone had ever seen it before. If it was definitely the first time I had ever run into it, and I hadn't seen it happen to anyone else on their stream. Uh, so I just remember being like, "Okay, I need to ask these guys what the hell is going on because they said they're not cheating, but it certainly feels like they are." um, and then ultimately, yeah, like learning about like how leader stacking just completely broke the game. Um, so yeah, the obviously like Annie Ruby hash plus anyone was like the worst thing to run into. I hated it.
Did you feel like you got that a lot?
Later in the game's life, I got it. I remember there was a period where I got it almost every game. Like almost every game that was the comp, especially during the like skill-based matchmaking era. That was pretty rough.
I feel like
Yeah.
some people only play that against like uh so like a really good demon or a toxic demon. I see those comps come out, but for the most part I feel like people are respectful enough not to use those comps on baby demons or people who are learning the game, because that
Mhm,
that does
mhm.
kind of push people away,
Yeah, and I
especially.
was in the category of people that were considered to be good at the like at least pretty good at the game,
Uh-huh.
so it made sense for them to pull it out against me. I also yeah, like I said, I feel like with my current perspective, I wouldn't have gotten nearly as upset about it. But yeah, it used to be like, oh my god, here we go
Yeah.
again.
And that comes more to another question we have is, did you have any like rivalries with anybody or with any squads or any specific individual that anytime you saw them you felt like, okay, I need to go full force on them because I want to make sure they lose?
I don't think I had any individual rivalries. I felt like ultimately all the rivalries I had were like kind of playful.
Hmm.
Like there would be squads I would run into, I would dodge them, then we would run into them again, and I'd be like, all right, I guess I'll play it out. Um, Dude, I remember one time. So I almost always dodged the God Squad when I would run into them, and then like every now and then I would play. But then I remember one time I ran into just got them tactics, duo queuing with his girlfriend. I killed the whole squad except him, or I killed the other two. So it was just him and his girlfriend on the book. His girlfriend was playing Cheryl, and he was playing Kelly. And I almost lost on the book to just the two of them. It was like Kelly with a legendary shotgun, and I almost lost to just got them tactics and his girlfriend. Uh, and I was just like, yeah, this is why I don't play these guys. I almost lose to just one of him.
Yeah, that
That's
makes sense.
funny. Um, were there any controversy moments, or did you have with any streamers or players that you're comfortable talking about?
I remember there was a guy Pixels that didn't
Mm.
like me very much. I
Mm-mm.
never like interacted with him, and like I would just get sent these like certain people would send me these DMs that they would get, and he was just like him hating on me. And I think a couple times on stream, I was just like, after I saw those DMs, I was like, yeah, screw that guy. Um, I don't even necessarily feel that way anymore. Like I said, I think some of the hate that I got was warranted because I had a bad attitude on stream sometimes. And I was like supposed to be this guy representing the game. So like, I have no ill will toward Pixels at all. I actually even thought I would watch his videos sometimes just to see what he was saying. He had some good ideas for the game, like legitimately, where where I was like, yeah, this like, as much as this guy is a complainer, he's also, he has some decent ideas. He had an idea that I was like, yeah, that's cool. He was like, and this is coming from a Survivor player. He was like, every weapon should just be blue, right? Like, there's no rarity to weapons. Like, the RNG should be like which weapon you're able to find, and then they should have sold skins for the guns and stuff. So it's like the damage is normalized, so you're able to balance it a lot easier. And then like they could make money off cosmetics and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea.
That would have been a
Yeah,
smart move. Even
not too
even
bad. No.
picking different survivor skins, I think that would have been definitely a cash grab. Like we see in other games.
I will
Um,
Yeah,
say, so one thing I did want to mention that I wasn't able to talk about at all. So this is and like just to be safe. I feel like I'm safe to talk about this as long as I don't say a name or anything. Um, but I was told very early on, uh, like behind the scenes, like this is not a live service game. I was told, and so immediately, like privately, I'm heartbroken, right? Because I'm like, oh, they're not planning to really support this thing. Um, and I was like, I was like, why? Because the other thing was the game sold, I think, 500,000 copies, like the opening weekend, which way overshot their estimates. So it's like the game is doing better than you thought. Like, why can't we just pivot to supporting the game? I was always so frustrated about that. I was like, I know the plan was to just do a content roadmap, which is what they did, and then be done. Um, but for some reason, they're just like, they're just sticking to their guns, even though the game is like overperforming their sales estimates. It's like they could have made so much money just continuing to develop the game. I don't know why they didn't pivot at all. But yeah, I think obviously all of us would have loved that a lot more if they were just regularly updating and not just like doing a couple content updates.
That would have been a nice thing they could have done, man. People are still praying and wishing or some type of miracle for something to happen, you know. So, but that would have been the
Yep.
best thing that could have happened, man.
And
This
like the
game-
couple cosmetics they released were fire, dude. Like the
Yeah.
Evil Ash cosmetic was so sick. I was always pitching it would be funny if they released like an Elego skin and he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and a straw hat or something. Like I don't know, like they could have done so much fun stuff.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about the Savini Ash skin was that we had to pay for a T-shirt
Yep.
just for us not to wear the T-shirt, just for them to put it on sale for $2 like 2 months later.
Yeah. I too bought a Savini Ash shirt.
Yeah, I still have it tucked away in its original wrap. I haven't
Do
even worn
you?
it once.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I wore mine. It's all messed up.
We have a couple more questions. One from Smoke. He said, "When do you predict the Evil Dead servers will shut down, or will it be like Resident Evil Resistance, where it's pay to play,
Or is that a peer-to-peer?
or peer to peer, either or?"
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say this, like I don't necessarily foresee them shutting down for a long time. Like I didn't think World War Z was that popular, and I feel like Saber still every now and then releases an
We were
update
just
for that
saying
game.
that yesterday. It's crazy. We were
Yeah.
literally just talking about this yesterday. I think Snack, you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
It's whenever-
like I feel like their MO is they support games for a very long time. Obviously, they're not supporting this one anymore, but I don't know that they have a much reason to shut the servers down unless it's like costing them a ton of money. But I also can't imagine it's costing them that much to keep enough servers up to handle the current population. So yeah, I
To me, I
guess I
felt like
don't see
they-
them shutting down for a while, but yeah.
To me, I feel like they had like maybe a contract or something for like 5 years, and I was estimating maybe like a 5-year mark.
Oh yeah,
before
maybe.
they even talk about, hey, we're getting ready to shut down, and like the next year, here's your notice.
I feel like if there was enough like social media outrage too, they would enable peer-to-peer. You just like connect to the demon or whatever.
Yeah. And then we have another question from Puff. Which teammate on Survivor side sold your games the hardest?
I love Janelle so much, Andy's wife. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Janelle. Mostly because I would like I would be playing and it would take me like a few games to be like, oh, she's drunk. That's why she's like constantly like, where's all my heals? Yeah, no. But honestly, like they were the most fun to play with anyways, because like none of us were taking the game that seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Then we have another question from Vic. Do you remember the time I said in your stream the game was basically an RTS and you were very against that idea?
No. I don't remember a lot of specific stuff like that. Dude, I think it just comes from like being in front of people so much. I just constantly don't remember things that I said or were said to me. Like I remember seeing like a fan edit in like 2016 of like Sohinki's best moments, and I legit did like 75% of the things I didn't even remember saying.
Well, you don't have to worry about it because Vic likes to save stuff for later, so maybe he has that.
Oh, okay. Very short
He'll
interaction.
probably pull out a receipt later.
He's got
Basically,
it.
well,
He's got it.
I will say like I still don't think like you could say it's like a little bit of an RTS. It's almost an RTS in the way. Oh man, what was the name of that game? There was like this game that was an RTS, but you played down on the battleground as like a commander, and it was like a future game. You're like in a tank. I don't remember the name of that game. I guess it's an RTS in the way that that's an RTS, which is like you do have some direct influence and like potential to outplay people, but you know I understand the argument that it's an RTS for sure.
Yeah, I do like those type of games for sure.
Uh,
Another question.
yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I'll leave you. So next question we have is any tournaments you were involved in. What was your experience with the tourneys that you were involved in? And how did it make you feel playing those tourneys if you were involved in one?
I played in one tournament. I think it was the first one, and I was talking to I don't know how to call you. Too cool for all of you.
You
Do you
can
have a
call me
name? That's
cool. Just call me cool.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking to Cool the other day, and I was like, I don't remember the names of the guys that ran the tournament. I think they were from South America.
Trip Duff
Yeah,
was the guy
Trip
who.
Duff.
You see, I
Yes,
knew. I
yes.
told he was. We were trying to figure out yesterday or the day before. It was last night. Who he kept saying? Who was this? What was this guy's name? I was like, don't worry, the chat's got your back, man. I'm sure they're gonna know. The chat definitely got your back on this one, man. They're really locked in when it came to the attorneys. But yeah, Trip Duff it was Snack.
Yeah,
And
Trip Duff was the coordinator for the tournament. He had his team on it too, but it was mainly like Trip Duff and Verbaki. I don't know if you remember Verbaki.
yep. Yeah. And I thought it was cool. I remember going into it, I was very like I didn't think it was worth it because I was like, this game's not ready for tournaments. And like I looked at the rule set and I was like, look at all this stuff they have to nerf just to make it balanced. You know, I was definitely like almost like reluctantly participating at first, but then I remembered I had like so much fun playing. Uh I got destroyed by God Squad. I actually beat Trip Duff's team. They claimed they were lagging after the fact. I believe them. You know, I'll just throw that out there. But I did. I think I was the only demon to kill one of the teams that tournament, which felt good. But apparently they were lagging.
That's it's a common thing right now with the lag, especially playing players from different servers at different regions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We've seen that
Yeah,
in tourneys.
I didn't think they were like making excuses or anything. I
Yeah.
believed them. But then my favorite thing was I Trip Duff and I would say Trip Duff and I were it was the only time I had a rivalry with anyone, and it was in Splatter Royale. Me and him would always like run into each other in Splatter Royale. Like
The good Splatter.
Oh.
yeah. Splatter was like honestly, I thought I loved that. I loved Splatter. When Splatter first came out, maybe it was just because I was so sick of playing the ASIM at that point because Ruby was just ruining it.
Mm-hmm.
But Splatter when it first came out and the lobbies were full was like one of the most fun eras of the game for me. I thought that it was like such a unique battle royale, and so many people were like hating on it, like we didn't ask for this, and I'm like, yeah, but can't you just have fun with it? Like it's I don't know. I thought it was so unique, like the way you would fight the bosses and get legendary weapons from them, and yeah, I really loved Splatter.
Yeah, I was one of the haters you're talking about. We didn't ask for this.
Yeah,
Give us a new fucking
fair.
map. Give us a new survivor. God damn it.
Well, also fix the ASIM. I'm not saying I didn't understand the frustration, but like I was like, can't we just make the most of it and enjoy this mode that's giving us a break from Ruby?
Mhm.
And it was so when the lobbies were full, that game was so fun. Even though people were teaming, I used to get frustrated when people would team in Splatter, but like even then, I was still having such a fun time, like figuring out builds. Like I think I was one of the first people doing like a melee build on Assassin because a lot of people early on were running the sniper class, I think. But I would just sprint at people with a melee weapon.
Do you feel like Splatter Royale probably could have saved the game if they had more attention? I know they had a lot of advertisement on it, and a lot of people are like making YouTube videos. They had Lyric, one of the big streamers out there, playing it as an ad. Do you feel like they should have put more attention to advertising it to make the game more noticed? And I know that that same week too, PlayStation was also free for Evil Dead 4 Splatter.
I think if it felt like the devs were going to regularly update the game at all, it could have saved it. I do think like eyes were on it and it was cool, but like Lyric was. I remember watching Lyric play, and he was kind of like shitting on it the whole time. Like he would have. It seemed like he was having fun, but then like he was like saying a bunch of negative stuff about it, and so I was like, I don't know. I don't know that they targeted the best people. I think a lot of times that's like a big common thing with a lot of devs when they're trying to quote like like do like influencer marketing or whatever is they just pick like the biggest people instead of being like, who's the best person that I should pick for this? And I just don't know that Lyric was like the guy they should have picked to. Nothing against Lyric, obviously. It's just more like I don't know that he was the one to pick to talk about Evil Dead.
Right. Yeah. I know during that era, I think it was like what 2023, like end of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
That was when like battle royales were kind of like falling off a little bit, and it was
Mm-hmm.
converting to mainly like the extraction games types that were coming out.
Yeah, that was the other thing working against it is at the time people were kind of sick of battle royales too. But I was and I was among those people. But when I played Splatter Royale, I was like, oh, this is like different. It's a new take on battle royales, which is the main reason people are tired of them is they all feel the same. So the fact that it like felt different, there's dodging, yeah, I just thought it was super fun.
You want to talk about game balances? I know you mentioned game balances a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and all the Q&As, and everybody can agree that this game is more survivor sided.
Mm-hmm.
I just want your view and your point on it.
Yeah, it's definitely survivor sided. I would like always try and emphasize on my stream, but I think for some reason like it would never land. Like people wouldn't understand what I was talking about, or they would think that I was like lying or something. Because people thought, I think maybe some people were like this, but I just was not. Like people thought, oh yeah, Sohinki's just he's just obsessed with his win rate. He just wants to win more. And I'm like, to me, it's so not about balance. It's about fun. And like it's not fun to get looped at a window. So it's like to me, developers should have done something about window looping and blocking windows and the railings that you couldn't vault. Like why are there railings that I can't vault? Why is vaulting done by sprinting at it instead of just pressing a button? Like
Mm.
there's just like these little annoyances that I wanted fixed that weren't even necessarily, they would have helped the balance, but it was more about fixing the parts that weren't fun than it was about like having to win all the time. Because there were certain squads, like there were games sometimes where I would commit to playing a team that I knew I would probably lose to. And I wasn't thinking about, oh, how do I win? I was like, oh, how do I have fun in this match was more my focus because I felt like I'll probably lose anyway. And I didn't really care about that because like to me ASIMs aren't I think they can be, but they aren't inherently a genre that are supposed to be so competitive. um so it's like having like my best moments, I think you like brought this up a little bit earlier, and I don't know that I talked about it that much. Like my favorite moments in the game were when something like funny happened. Not I don't have like a ton of fond memories of like, oh yeah, I beat this team and it felt so good. Like those weren't the things I remember. Like I remember the time I'm chasing a Scotty with one of the Warlord basics. It was after Puke Cancel got nerfed. One of my random basics vomited on him. I started hitting him. He rage quit the game mid attack, and he landed in a position where it looked like he was sucking my dick. You know, like that's what I remember. That shit was
Can you
so.
suck it?
I laughed so, and it was so perfect because I had just possessed the unit. So as he goes down and starts sucking my unit's dick, my unit goes, "Let's party," and I just lost my shit, dude.
Did he
Like,
did he ask?
Can you suck it? What?
yeah. Dude, straight up like those are the moments I remember so much more than like, oh, I beat this team. Like I don't have a ton of those like proud memories from the game. I remember there's one time I was playing Plaguebringer. Um it was at one of the southern spots on do you remember I forget so many of the like POI names, but it was on the big map. It was one of the southern spots where it's just like this raised balcony area and there's like a porta potty that you can kind of go in a little bit.
Oh, is it Camp Greenberg or like around that area?
It's to the east of the camp. It's one over from the like far right one. Anyway, I trap Henry in the porta potty with a pot as Plaguebringer. He rage quit, and he landed on the ground in a position, and his arm started swinging in a way that looked like he was doing like a jerk off motion. Like, fuck you, guy. You know? Like, those are the clips I remember, and like the moments I remember the most are like when funny things happened so much more than like beating a squad.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot about getting having fun from the situation.
So like to get back to the original question about balance, like the thing that I always wished they would do, and I understood why, you know, it wasn't just like spammable, but I always thought any ability and any action in the game should be able to be canceled with a dodge, and like on the demon side, and certain things on the survivor side, except maybe healing. Like, I don't think it would have been a big deal to me. Like, and obviously you can like canceling out of a reload animation with dodge. Like, yeah, you should be able to do that. But like, I always thought it would be so much more fun and fluid on demon if any action on a cooldown, which could be balanced, was cancelable by dodging. And then just balancing the game around it. Like, I remember Alucard recommended or suggested one time, like, oh, it would be cool if the number of ticks of puke, like that hit the survivor, kind of dictated how long they couldn't move. And then puke cancel would have been balanced, because a lot of the problem with puke cancel was if even one tick hits them, you just like run up and kill them, which obviously was a little too powerful. But removing puke cancel completely from the game, I thought was like nerfing the fun even more than it was nerfing the character. It's like puke cancel could exist in a balanced way, the same way any dodge cancel in the game, and it felt like very inconsistent. It's like some characters have dodge cancels and some don't. The whole reason Ball is even viable as a character that can kill people is because they can dodge cancel the like rake ability. So I just thought like the combat would be much more involved and fun and like mind gamey if you could cancel your actions on a reasonable cooldown with a dodge, even if it was like, you know, every 10 seconds. You know, at least I could have like planned a strategy around like which abilities I want to cancel with that dodge or whatever.
All right.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Another question we have: what are some things you feel like you want to share? Being that you're head first inside a lot of stuff, I know we talked about it a little earlier, but is there you feel like there's any more things that are behind the scenes that you feel like you want to put some input on? Or there's some things you can share that are like more secretive that were never told before?
No, I think I said the big one, which is like they were never planning on like, at least they never said these exact words to me, but based on things I was told, it never felt like the plan was, oh yeah, we're really gonna like support this game with regular updates. Based on what I was told, it felt like the plan was they have a content roadmap and they're going to support the game intermittently for as long as that content roadmap exists. And then once the content roadmap is done, then they're kind of like, that's what they've devoted to doing with the game. And for whatever reason, they never changed their plan on that, even when the game proved to be like very successful. That was like my biggest frustration.
Yeah. I know coming back to Pixels a little bit, and on some of Pixels videos are saying he had like an insider guy who knew like he wanted to release all his content, but he was being held back. I think it was a team in Madrid, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like any of that stuff got to you, or it kind of made sense, or that you heard of?
I did not know anything about that, truthfully. I do, now that you're saying it, I do remember him saying that. So I don't really know anything about that as far as like extra content and stuff. I do remember feeling like, and it was really just based on like tone of certain messages. It kind of felt like the team in Madrid and like and like the main team, like, I don't know, it felt like there was some weird tension there that I didn't know about or understand, and and like I have no details on if there was or why. I just remember feeling that way, like, oh, the Madrid team seems kind of like frustrated or something, you know. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I don't really know any details about that, unfortunately.
All
All
right.
right.
All right, not too bad. If you could have influenced one additional content update, what would it have been? Like, what do you think something you wanted to add or thought of that you wanted to include on like the next update if they were to make one?
I guess if it was like a small tweak that could have improved the that could have improved the quality of life of the game. I always thought every car should be a Kandar portal. That was included on the map. I also would have cut down the number of cars a bit more than they did. Um, I never really understood why they kind of only went halfway on like reducing the number. But I felt like, with a few exceptions, like there were some games where people just run from car spawn to car spawn to car spawn. But with how the cars function on Kandar, it felt like at the start of the match, I'm free to try and hunt the survivors, which feels like what you should be prioritizing doing. And I always thought if that one small tweak was made, the game would feel better. I guess as far as like a big content update, yeah, just it would have been nice if before they stopped supporting the game, they just did a pass that fixed the bugs. You know, because it felt like the railings you couldn't vault were never intentional. It was like a bug they never fixed. Like it feels like you're supposed to be able to vault those railings, but you just can't for some reason. Uh, so I just wish that they had gone through like one last little patch to like, show their love for the franchise and the game and the respect for the community and just like fix all the stuff. Obviously, there's probably going to be more things that people find along the way and whatnot, but like the known bugs, it would have been nice for them to just like do one patch and be like, yeah, here, we're fixing this, enjoy.
Yeah. Near the end of the game, like, do you feel like there's like any passionate moments or special moments that you remember, like overall? I know you were talking a little bit about the funny moments, but do you feel like the overall experience you had with Evil Dead, do you feel like the overall, like, is there any memories that you could feel like kind of anytime you come back to hear Evil Dead, that this is something that will always be brought up?
Mm-hmm. I think like, well, personally, I don't know. I did like coming back to the game to P5 all my demons because I just felt like I do love this game so much, and I don't play it as much as some people, and I was never, I was always talked about amongst like top demon players, but I was never considered like one of the best. But I love the game so much. I really like, to this day, obviously, like I said earlier, like I still think it's, design wise, like the best ASIM and the one I've had the most fun with. And so it felt like a nice little like full circle moment to be like, all right, let me do this arbitrary what seems arbitrary, but like kind of like prove my love for the game by like completing this Necronomicon, at least on the demon side.
Do you feel like the whole prestiging system, do you feel like
I
it
hated
was good for everybody,
No,
or
I thought it was terrible, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, I hated it.
some of the requirements are kind of outrageous. And in the beginning, when we didn't have the double to 4 times XP that we do now, since the beginning, it was such a grind and a pain.
Yep. I remember saving, I think 17 or 18 million spirit points before the update where they released the prestige system, and I thought to myself, this will be enough to prestige all my demons because like I didn't know anything about the system, like I didn't have any info on it at all or anything. I just knew it was coming out, just like everyone else. And so I felt like, oh yeah, like I'll wake up, I'll prestige all my demons, I'll stream, it'll be great. And then I got plague to P5 and like puppeteer to P1, and that was it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have you
also
ever
felt
thought
like it
about
completely. Sorry, just to add
no,
one more thing to that. I also felt like it completely unbalanced the game the way they did it. I thought all the community really wanted was like traditional prestige rewards, like cosmetic stuff. Dude, they could have literally copied Dead by Daylight and made them bloody skins, and I feel like people would have been happy. But instead, they added extra skill points that completely ruined the game balance. Yeah, I thought it was crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, Yeah, sounds good. Have you ever thought about revisiting Evil Dead? Maybe doing a nostalgia stream, maybe playing with old teammates like Andy Campbell or Alucard, uh, or just
Yeah,
with anybody, or just like an open stream just to get one more go ahead in there. Just playing with
yeah.
everybody.
I definitely, I think about even though I haven't played in a long time, the game is still installed. I never uninstalled it, so it's. I look at it from time, like when I'm struggling, like when I'm on. It's the weekend. I finally have time to relax. Like sometimes I look at it in my library and I'm like, do I want to play it? Uh, but but yeah, I mean, I'll definitely come back and play it for sure.
Yeah.
Especially a little bit probably before Halloween comes out.
Awesome.
Um,
Should maybe do something like Vic liked to do in the past. Maybe do a whole splatter stream. Maybe survive with the friends.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
dude, if
customs.
we could, all right, I would. If we could get 40 people to do a full Splatter Royale lobby, I would do that in a heartbeat. I
Okay.
felt I felt like
Yeah.
I felt like straight like the game is just not as fun when it's like 10 players in the lobby. Like when it's so much chaotic fun when it's a maxed out lobby. Do you think? But sorry, I'm looking at this chat. Do you think if 40 people queued at the same time, you would get 4 10-man lobbies, or do you think it would load up a full lobby? I've never tried to do it, so I don't know. You're the splatter expert these days.
Mm-hmm. He loves splatter.
Yeah, he did love his Spider. I know there's
Mm-hmm.
this guy on Reddit. One time I saw a while ago that was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be playing Spider this time if everyone joins."
Mm, different lobbies, man. That's such a shame. I wonder why.
What's the max? I mean, I never played splatter. I think I.
It was
40
a
back.
40 man max lobby, and like 40 felt like a lot. Like not a lot in a bad way. It felt like the right amount.
Mhm.
It felt like I spawn, I run up to a POI, there's gonna be an enemy player here. In a good way. Like I felt like the gameplay felt predictable in a balanced way, where I know I'm gonna get into a fight pretty early on. I know if I'm in that fight for a long time, I'm gonna get third partied. So it just felt like the right number, 40. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we can set something up, and if we can get a number of people signed up, like we'll probably talk about it. I'll do it with Vic. Maybe we can set something up. I know Pride was talking about it. There was Noah Q Games that was streaming today that said he was in there today. So they did play Splatter Royale. I haven't seen anybody stream it in the longest. So I think it's something that we could come up with, and hopefully if we can get a good amount, I will definitely reach out and be like, hey, we got something set up. So I'll definitely discuss that with Vic in the near
Yeah.
future.
Uh,
Uh
I do want to say, oh no, you go first. You go
no,
first.
you're good. You're good. I was just gonna ask the next question, but I don't want to.
Yeah, go for it.
Uh, are there some elements from Evil Dead, the game, that you'd like to see carried into other ASIM games?
Yeah, I would love to see the like sort of like dungeon master aspect. That's how I used to pitch it to friends that didn't play the game. Because like so many of my friends are just huge nerds. I'm like, oh dude, you're like a dungeon master. You get to like put traps for people and like enemies, and you can even take over the enemies and
Mm-hmm.
attack people with them. Like that element. I think they called it mastermind in Resident Evil Resistance. Is that
Uh huh.
right? But it's like
Yes.
yeah, that element of like being the one that kind of controls the flow of the game, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
is something to explore in other franchises for sure.
They actually had a game. I don't know if you heard of the game 7 Days to Die. They actually
Mhm.
came out with something similar to that called Blood Moons, and I was super amped for it because they had that mastermind element where you get to, spawn in your hordes and then you get to control some of the units. But it kind of flopped pretty hard, which I was kind of disappointed in because they like
Mm,
rechanged it all last minute. And I was like, this could be a good, next ASIM. But yeah, it kind of flopped, and then they started discounting it because it flopped pretty bad.
I see. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that and I was planning on buying it, and then when I looked at it, it had like mixed reviews, and I looked at all the reviews, and like most of the negative reviews I saw were saying the lobbies are like you can't get a lobby, and I was like, oh dang.
Yeah, I bought it when it came out, played it for like an hour, refunded it. I was like, yeah, this isn't. They changed a lot of the way it like was releasing the trailers.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all the questions we have. I know it's it's been a lot of questions, and you gave us some awesome answers, and especially when it came to the beginning of the games and how you were involved. Um, so if anybody has any questions, more feel free to ask while we're still here. In the
Sure.
meantime, would you like to say anything? I know
Yeah,
you said a lot.
I just want to say thanks to the community. I especially want to say thank you to like there. I think like I said, I don't I don't think I was I'm very hard on myself in general, so I feel like maybe I remember myself being worse than I was. But I think like people on the survivor side kind of put up with me being like a little bit of a jerk sometimes, and like so many of the survivors were still. Let's put it this way. I think most reasonable people understood where my frustration was coming from, but I really appreciated all the survivor players that were like nice to me, that would come in my stream and like give me tips and tell me GGs and like um you know Snack, got them tactics, like Zarko, uh all the Trip Duff and Vorbaki and all of them. And like, I felt like a lot of the best squads would come in my stream when I streamed and like be really nice to me. Um, and like, I really appreciated that, like, people could look past my frustration sometimes and be like, yeah, like I get this guy. And like, overall, he's a good guy. Um, you interviewed Saturn. I think she was another person that would pop in my stream, and I loved talking to her because I felt like she would always like, um, yeah, she was very passionate. I could tell she was very passionate about the game, and she would like share tech and ideas with me too. I know she was like a survivor main that kind of got into Demon way later as well.
Yeah,
So
and then
yeah,
one big team. I know they're in the chat. They're just lurking, but they always like to make sure they're known as the Rat Squad. Do you have anything
yeah.
to say for the Rat
What
Squad?
else? Sorry, what were their names? Because like everyone, I would start getting confused about like what squad was who and all that.
Yeah, yeah, a little hard to name, because they're rats. They lurk around. You don't really notice who they are, but yeah, Dark, Toxicity, Nico, Jumping
Right.
the Frog, um,
And I'll say
Mystique.
that yes, Nico and Mystique I remember specifically. And I'll say this, I really appreciated those guys too cuz I felt like especially like when I came back to the game and I would play against them sometimes and they would always win. And like, I think uh, you know, I think my attitude was probably okay, but I'm sure I got salty sometimes. But I think even in the times I got salty, they were still nice to me in my stream. So, yeah, I appreciate those guys too. Even though their favorite thing was to just make me look like garbage because I had no chance against them.
You're
Yeah,
good, man. Uh, Well, again, thank you again for taking your time and doing this, and we appreciate you coming and giving us your views and your perspective on the game. And you did have a big impact, and you did try to help, take this game further than what it is. So we want to say thank you. There's still people playing today, so if you do feel like you want to come back and need a squad, we'll take you in with open arms. So
I
and
remember I
also
played. I remember I played Survivor one time. I forget who our fourth. I think it was probably Got Them Tactics, but it was like Snack, Saturn, and Got Them Tactics or something
yeah,
like that. And I remember we just walked through every game, and I never felt like I
yeah.
was doing anything.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was you were streaming it. We asked if you wanted to play. You're like, you know what? Yeah, we'll play with you. I'll play with you guys. You
Yeah.
play like 3 games with us. You're like, I'm gonna go back to Demon because this is
Well,
boring.
it was like I felt like I was getting so carried. Like I didn't feel like I was really doing anything.
Yeah, which is understandable. We
Uh,
got one question. After Evil Dead the game, is there a second favorite ASIM or horror game you have?
Ooh. Um, two come to mind. Um, the first one I'll shout out is the OG, which I loved so much, Evolve. I thought that game could have been a lot better, obviously. But it kind of, at least for me, started it all. Like my love of ASIM games. It's the first, like I said, I don't know if there might have been some before it, but that was definitely the first one I remember. I loved Evolve a lot. Like conceptually, just like the concept of, which is something that Evil Dead tried to do, but the concept of the like killer role getting stronger over the course of the match and all that is a little different, obviously, because the survivors are hunting the killer. But that's
Yeah.
actually, it's interesting is that format is similar to another game I was just going to mention, which is Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. I feel like is mega underrated. I feel like
Mo.
playing the ghost in that game is like very fun, and there's different strategies you can do, and yeah.
Moko always
Yeah,
asks us,
no.
let's play Ghostbusters. It's like, I'm good. I'm okay. Not from a dead game to another dead game.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is very similar to Evil Dead. It feels like you log into Ghostbusters and you get bots for sure, but like there are definitely people still playing Ghostbusters to this day.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew Evolved was I think it was the third person, the third interview saying that they played Evolve, and I've seen some gameplay of it. Evolve looked pretty good. I think right now it's like a peer to peer, and
Mhm.
they're talking about like potentially revising it, making it like a full server. I don't know
I
if that
felt like
happened already or not.
I felt like that game should have been, because like the gameplay of that game boiled down to monster sneaks around and eats animals. The hunters hunt the monster until they can put it in a dome. You fight until the dome goes down, and you like rinse and repeat. And it's like kind of very straightforward in that way. Um, I always felt like the game could have been way more atmospheric and kind of like a horror experience for the hunters in a way. And like the monster should have felt more like a wild animal almost, like surprise attacking them and stuff rather than like necessarily building up to being this giant beast.
Mhm.
I thought there's like things they could have done with it that would have made it more of like, because it was an ASIM, but I wouldn't have called it a horror.
Yeah.
They could have made it like more scary, more atmospheric.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you again, and I think we do have another Q&A tomorrow, Queen of Vane. Um, I just gotta remember the time. I think it was at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So, we'll be doing Queen of Vane. She's just a chill person. So if you guys come, we'll have a good time. She's got some clips that she wants to share too. So we'll be doing that. It's the first time. I'm gonna kind of be showing clips from the streamer, from the person that's being interviewed. I meant, and
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I should. Oh man, I wish. I don't know if I'll be able to find it real quick. I want to see if I can find the Scotty clip.
Yeah, let me see. I'll play it on the stream
But
if you
the
see.
only way I'll be able to find it is if it's like still
Take
saved,
take your
which
time, brother. No
is kind
rush.
of a long shot. I'll take a look.
Yeah. And in the meantime, anybody else have any questions? And thank you for everybody who did participate and had questions. You guys are awesome. You
Yeah, a
still
lot of good
got the
questions
people,
today.
huh? Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of good
very,
questions today.
very good questions. And I want to say thank you to everybody for being positive and asking good questions and questions that mean something.
Oh wait, can filter by the game.
I got a question for you, Sinky.
Sure.
Uh, are you and Alucard still good friends, or are you guys still having your guys' beef? I know you guys had beef during the TCM eras.
Like
Is
the
there just
weird
like
thing
a
is, like I wouldn't even call it beef. So let me say this, like we never really like talked it out that much. Um, I would love to, honestly. I felt bad. I felt like I let him down in some ways because, like, he like was all on like the esports thing, and like I kind of there were two things. One was um when I started playing the game, I felt like I quickly realized like I don't feel like this game's a competitive game, and I don't think I should have just communicated that and been like, hey, if you want to take this a little more seriously, um, then like maybe we should like just maybe we could have like stopped playing together sooner and just like played together casually or something. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, I like Yeah, and then the other part of it was like I was going through a really rough time in my life in general at the time that we were playing that game, so I felt like I was logging on every day in a bad mood. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like primed to not be fun to play with. And then I was like getting frustrated with how he was approaching the game, and like I wanted to experiment a little bit more than he did. It felt like, um, and
Yeah, and
also
I
he
think
played more than me, so I felt like some things I wanted to experiment with, he already knew were bad, you know. So it's like some friction there. It's like he already knows this thing is bad, but I want to try it out. So yeah, I
yeah,
felt
I
like
remember the time he kind of like crashed out a little bit on like hand rows. I think it was hand rows, right? That you guys were playing with. It was your
yeah,
third.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
And I know you weren't in agreement to that stuff too, and that kind of like put more turmoil on the friendship.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, so like, I don't know if Alucard is watching or if he is going to watch this, but yeah, I would just, and I did say I'm sorry to him, like briefly. We didn't really like talk a ton or anything, but I did feel bad about that whole situation. I think I could have handled it better. I'm sure he feels he could have handled it better, and yeah, I have no, I don't really hold grudges in general.
Yeah,
So yeah, I still like Alucard. I still tune into his streams sometimes when he streams. The rare occasion that he streams these days.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, and like I would totally play another ASIM with him again if there was something like TCM. I think I was forcing myself to play TCM in a time where I probably shouldn't have even been streaming. Because there was just like
understandable. Yeah,
real life stuff happening at the time. Yeah. I think I even crashed out one day because he was getting mad at me. I remember crashing out during the stream and being like, "My life fucking sucks right now." I said something like that, and then I remember like uh, people in his chat were being like, "Oof, cringe!" Like like I was like, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, no,
yeah,
obviously like no ill will toward Alucard at that. I think he's cool.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just a question that was, thought about, and I know you guys had your guys' little issues, and I know we
I
haven't
just
seen you guys.
remember like the only reason we didn't talk more, or the only reason I didn't try to talk to him more, someone sent me some tweet of his that seemed to be about me, where he like, and I don't even know if it was, but someone sent it to me as if it was about me, saying something along the lines of like, next time I play an ASM, I'm not going to play with some weird cult leader. Like if it was about me, he was calling me like a weird cult leader or something. I didn't really quite understand the tweet. It seemed like a I don't know what you even call those. Like a anyway. Uh, so I felt like, oh man, this guy really doesn't like me. So I didn't try to reach out that much. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I guess now is my time to just be like, hey man, no hard feelings, and I'm sorry things went down the way they did. And I think if I was in a better place, they would have gone better, obviously. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm sure eventually he might see this or might get across to him, and might he might reach out to you or you might reach out to him, and you guys might talk about it. To
yeah,
the past, we move on.
indeed.
Go to the next ASIM and talk more shit to
Yeah,
each other.
yeah. We'll share Halloween tech for the month that game we play that game.
Either cool. Cool. He's having some
Oh wait,
technical
I
issues
forgot.
right now.
I forgot. I'm looking for this clip.
No, you're good. Cool's having a little bit of a.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, good, good. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just my mic just turned off, and I had to uh plug it back. Um,
He thinks he was looking for the clip real quick.
yeah,
Yeah. You guys keep talking. I'm like trying to find this
you're good. Take
dumb clip of.
Vic said my mic is a little low. Is it better now? You still feel
Yeah,
like?
you're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if anybody has any more questions or topics they want to bring up, well,
Mm-hmm.
I think looks for the clip. See if we can find it. A good, funny
I
clip.
could find it in the context of because I know I put it in a YouTube video at one point. Oh, you know what? I deleted that channel. Fuck.
Oh,
Hold on. I like very briefly started this channel called Killer Main, and I was planning to upload, and then my life got really busy, and then I like uploaded like 2 videos total on it. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I have it on YouTube.
Another question from Boo. Does he have high hopes for the Halloween game?
Well, the one thing that I'll say is the cool thing about Ilphonic developing a game, at least, is like they just seem to support games forever. They're still updating Predator Hunting Grounds. And I just can't imagine a ton of people are playing that game. They still, every now and then, will update Ghostbusters, even though you'll log in and, like, on the Ghostbuster side, like, 2 of your teammates are bots. So it's like, the cool thing is that if it's fun, it's going to be supported for a long time. So, like, my high hopes for it are kind of based around that. It's like, if the game is good, like, I mean, even if it's not good, but the good thing about it, if it is good, is that they're going to keep supporting the game. And I'm sure the better it does, the more they will support it. So that's the cool thing about Ilphonic making the game. I know a lot of people have thoughts about Ilphonic making the game in general because they haven't, enjoyed the previous games they've released. But yeah.
With
But
Ilphonic being oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Cool.
No, you're good. But I think sometimes they learn. It's like I feel like you can learn from some of the games you did, what you did wrong, what could we do better. So hopefully in this instance, they see maybe we could do stuff differently, or change some things that didn't work in the past and maybe add that to this game. So hopefully, I think I try to have a positive outlook on things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping for this Halloween game that's coming out.
Yeah, with the Ilphonic being a topic, I know there was a Reddit post in the past from Ilphonic of them, putting a list out of like a poll of which eSims that people would like to see them potentially try to get the rights to. And I know Evil Dead was one of them. Do you think it's a possibility that Ilphonic might have a chance of picking up Evil Dead?
That would be cool. I mean, obviously all of us just want to see this game like supported. And like I said, the good thing about Ilphonic picking it up, I'm sure a lot of people would have opinions about that. But the good thing about it is like they'll just support this game into oblivion. It seems like so. I have no idea. I mean, it would be very cool, even if they develop I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine this game any other way, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think it would ultimately be cool. I guess we'll see. And the only I found a clip of me downing 5 survivors with one scream, or 4 survivors with one scream, I think. But
Ooh,
I
let's see
can't.
that.
It might be 2 screams. Hold on, let me see. I want to find the Scotty clip so bad, so funny.
A question from Dark: who do you think is better, Rat Squad or the God Squad?
I mean, question: were you actually best friends with Alucard? All right. I'll answer things in order. God Squad is. I think every demon thinks God Squad is the best team
Mm-hmm.
to play the game. Like I said, I almost lost to Just Gotham Tactics and his girlfriend, even when both their teammates were dead. The only way I won was I don't remember exactly. I think I was playing Warlord, and I ended up getting puke from an AI on Gotham Tactics and downed him. That was the only reason I won the game, but I almost lost to just them. So it's like when the full squad was together, like when I queued in and I knew it was all 4 of them, I was just like, well, I guess I'll just go fuck myself. And I think I beat the Rat Squad one time, and I don't think I ever beat God Squad. So there's that.
Maybe the other question: were you actually best friends with Alucard?
I don't know that we were ever best friends. I mean, I know there was a period of time when we would talk a lot. I remember he was the one that pointed out, and I was able to bring it up to Saber. So there was this massive Reddit thread that was like, so he basically saying like, basically trying to get me fired from my job, like running the dev streams. Whereas like people being like, this guy shouldn't be doing it. Yeah, he sucks. Look how toxic he is. Um, and then Alucard did some research and like found that the guy that made the thread just literally just hated me because I'm Jewish. He's just an anti-Semitic guy. So like there was a period of time when Alucard and I were like communicating regularly, and he clearly had my back, and I had his back, and I don't know that we were ever best friends, but we definitely talked a decent amount at one point. Dang it. Sorry, I'm still clicking through clips right now, like looking for this.
Oh, you're good, man. In the meantime, did everybody see the new the trailer for the new Evil Dead movie? I did want to play that, so while you look for that, maybe we could take a look at the new trailer.
Imagine choosing
Evil
from
Dead
100
Burn or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, wait till this ad is finished, and we'll play it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play it in a second. Tell me what you guys think about it.
All right, you ready?
Thank you, Joseph. That's beautiful.
No. That's Will's seat. Where's the wedding ring?
Alice, you were his wife. Why aren't you wearing it? I'm not sure.
Did you sell it?
No, of course not.
And get a good price.
I really think we should do this another time.
No, now's the best time.
Will's looking down on us from above.
From above. He's down below.
It's funny, I'm like looking through all my clips, and I'm seeing like the people
William,
that clipped them,
my sweet
and I'm like,
boy.
oh yeah, I remember that.
I would give anything
We're good.
for us to be
We're
together
watching the
again.
trailer for the new Evil Dead.
My
We got the
grandfather believed
necromancer right here.
the devil would return if anyone read from the Book of the Dead.
Calm down. The whole family can be reunited.
Oof. That would have been a dope weapon. That's a melee weapon.
Cheers to your perfect family.
Just drinking wax.
Oh yeah, that shit was messed up.
Oof. All right, there's that. Who's excited for
Big
it?
trailer. Big trailer.
Yeah. Now imagine like adding one of these characters, even from the last one. You know, that the game part 2 for P. I agree 100%, man. Oh, imagine, man.
Wait,
we
I
could've
found one of the clips.
All right.
Yeah, dude. This shit's so funny.
I'm back to memory lane.
You can send it in the Discord and I'll play it for everybody.
Oh yeah, here. Or do you want me to just post the link in your chat?
Oh, you could do that for sure. You can do that and I'll play it as well. You want to send it to vote?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, let's look at it.
Here else. Yeah, you can just click it there.
Yeah, let's open it up, guys.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I gotta find the Scotty one.
All right, let's do it. Oh, there it is.
The humans have another piece of the map. You had one job.
Oh, he left the match. He's like, fuck that.
He's just holding his dick.
Dude. Look how he fell. Why does it look like he's holding the dick? He's got his hand in holding a dick position.
Oh, the other one's
no!
bleeding out.
The floppy wrist.
The best is when the pop breaks and his wrist starts flopping around.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, that's gold.
Oh wait, is this it? I think I found it.
Awesome. All right, let's look at the next clip, you guys.
Dude, oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
Let's look at this
This
one.
is too good too.
All right.
And he out. Okay, this looks wrong, guys. This looks very wrong. I'm so sorry for this. This doesn't... Avert your eyes, please. Avert your eyes. Oh
Yeah,
my
play it.
god.
The thing I noticed when I watched it back that made it so much better was
dude.
the unit goes, "Let's hard."
Oh, when you nut and they keep sucking.
Nothing keeps
Dude, that was how bad we dominated. Oh my god.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Good times, man. Well, I'm gonna definitely, if anybody can clip those for me.
Can you suck it?
Well, that's it, guys. Those there's gonna be some stuff I'm gonna save. I think this is it though. You have any more you want to send, or these are the two you wanted to show?
Oh, those are the two I remember the
Alright.
most. I have other clips.
Alright.
I remember the first time I killed someone with a crate. That was good. I think I have that somewhere lying around in here. I remember I have a funny clip of the first time I discovered that the unit, like the basic from the Plaguebringer, could spam the first ability. You have a lot of like funny like content memories more than I have, like I said, like competitive memories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Well, thank you for inviting me to do this, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's fun to like I miss everyone. Like I recognize a lot of names in your chat and like reminiscing and stuff. Like I really like I know a lot of Survivor people, especially on Reddit and whatnot. Were not necessarily the biggest fan of me, but like I said, I don't hold grudges, and I feel like I really appreciated everyone that came in my stream. Whether they didn't like me or they liked me, it was
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to revisit and talk to people and stuff. So I appreciate you having me on here.
Of course, man. Of course. And I appreciate you for coming and taking time out of your busy schedule to do this. And yeah, this is a very dope experience, and we are very happy that you said yes to to do the Q&A. And I appreciate it, man. And we'll definitely reach out to you if we can get some splatter set up. Even if you want to
Yeah,
play a
yeah.
couple games, we're here. So just
Yeah. If you wanna beat me up on Demon,
yeah, please, please.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go like a Brock. We'll have the squad go Brock, Kelly, maybe Pablo, a Henry. Maybe we can get this reenactment of this Henry scene again.
yeah.
I appreciate it, brother, and
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing Queen of Vain, so I will. Let me just double check the time. I had Sassy set it up, so if anybody is free tomorrow, And the VOD will be up as well, so you guys can definitely check it out. It's gonna be fun. The time for tomorrow is going to be, wait a minute, right here. Queen of Vane, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So I was right. I was Queen of Vane because I had so many coming up. Just want to make sure I give everybody the right time. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we're gonna do Queen of Vane. All right, everybody, have a good night. I will be raiding over to Cavaliers if he's still streaming. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Thank you for interaction. Thank you for the comments. And I'll see you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for the questions, guys.
Of course. Have a good night.
Yo.
All right, reading now.
Move it, bitch.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you.